Hello everybody, welcome to Step into the Portal. My name is the Brandt, and we are here for the epic, exciting conclusion of the Sinister Motives campaign. We are going to be fighting, dun dun dun, if you don't know, Venom Goblin. So he is the final villain. I think they had not revealed him, but it is Venom meets Goblin, and we'll go through kind of all that. Hello to everybody out there watching live. Great to see you. Go ahead and say hello in the chat. If you have any questions, you can put them there for me as well. Hello to everybody watching afterward as well. If you're jumping in on this one, you may want to go back several videos. I forgot to turn my sound off. Oops. You may want to go back several videos and go to the first one and watch the beginning of this campaign so you can see it from there and whatnot. Sorry that I was a minute or so late to start. Actually, funny enough, I was just about to hit start streaming, and Larry called me from Reno. They're on their way back from the Gamma Trade Show, and he was sitting in the airport, and he was wondering, how did the Sinister Motives campaign go? And I said, I will let you know when I'm done. I'm sitting in this chair waiting to hit start streaming, and he started laughing. So he's on his way back, him and Brian, so hopefully they will be safe. All right, we got lots of people here in the chat. Hello to Matt, hello to Martin, hello to Robert. I see several other people here, so it's great to see them. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, great to have everybody here. We're going to finish this thing up and go through all of that and try to beat this. Now, I will tell you that this last villain is complex. If you thought that... And hard. If you thought that some of the other villains seemed easy, you know, it was the standard mode. I think these decks are very good, but this villain is definitely tough. There's a lot going on here, so bear with me. I have practiced, so none of the other villains I played before I streamed them. I kind of went through and read their rules to make sure I understood, but I never played all the way through them. But I played through Venom Goblin twice. Once I lost, it was crazy. I had the win on the next turn and I lost. And then I went back and played again and I beat him pretty handily that time. But it was definitely tough. It was a slog. And I wanted to make sure that I had the rules down for Venom Goblin because there's a lot going on here. This may be the most complex villain yet. I'm sure there's some that people could tell me and there can be some confusion on others. But this one is probably the most complex villain that we've seen, which I think is cool. Personally, I think it's great that we have a complex villain, and it makes sense that he's the end of a campaign, right? That he's going to be where it's a little trickier in terms of that. I don't know that difficulty-wise he's necessarily one of the hardest villains. In fact, this box overall, I don't think difficulty-wise is too bad. So far on the standard campaign, we'll see what happens when we get to the expert campaign. When I do finish up the campaign, I will give you a full review of the entire campaign. I will go through the 2 heroes. I will go through the aspect cards. I will go through each of the villains for you and then give you my final thoughts as well at the end of this video. So you can stick around possibly for a while. I saw people saying, get ready, it could be a while, and it's true. I don't think I will replay Venom Goblin if I lose, unless I lose very quickly. But, you know, if I play for an hour and a half and lose, then I will just end the campaign there and whatnot. But let's hope we don't lose. I don't think we're going to. I think it'll be okay, so it should work out well. Hello, Fern. Hello, Brombe. Good to see everybody here. I think that's it. Oh, I do want to remind you about the Con of Heroes, so definitely check that out. It is going to be the weekend of May 20th to the 22nd in Minnesota at Games Enter, and I believe you can go to I hope it's conofheroes.com. I apologize if that's not what it is, but you can check it out there and look for information. You will find me there. I think I'm going to help run an event and run some other stuff, and I don't know if I can stream from there or just sit and play with people. That would be fun. I'm happy to play whatever. You can give me the hero. You can give me the villain. I'll play standard. I'll play expert. I'll play heroic. Whatever you want to play. I'm just excited to play this really fun game with people. That would be the idea. So that is what I'm going to do. All right. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order before we jump in? No. Oh, check out hallofheroes.com as well. There are pictures of all these cards that people have been having put on the stream, and they're up there on Hall of Heroes. Almost all the cards. I know there's a few they still have to get. I couldn't take apart all my decks. I didn't want to have to be searching for things, but there's a bunch of stuff that got put up there. So if you're looking for specific cards, you may find them there, and you can let me know for other things that you are looking towards as well. Oh, thank you, Robert. It's not a problem. I enjoy the community. I enjoy the game a whole bunch. Really, it's funny. I haven't played a lifestyle game in a long time. I usually, if you go and listen, we have a podcast, the Portal Gaming Podcast. If you go through there, 200 episodes, you're going to hear me talk about like 2, 3, 5, 10 games an episode. I'm usually the one rifling through all sorts of different games. So the fact that I have one game and I'm doing 5 streams of that one game over a short amount of time is very different. And again, if I had Larry, if he wasn't away, we would have found a way to do this in 2 streams and have him. But that one person energy, I don't have it. I feed off of the energy of other people, and so I love having the live chat here. But I am staring at a camera, behind of which is a stack of board games, a Twilight Imperium expansion, Battlestar Galactica, First Martians, Vast, Spectre Ops are all back here, and then there's a window, and the window has a curtain over it. I'm in my attic, so I am totally by myself. So when I have more people on the stream and I can interact with them, it's easier for me to keep going. But I actually run out of energy by not having people with me. So thank you for being with me and commenting here. Those comments are always great to keep me going. I guess between that and a little Mountain Dew. The official drink of the portal. What is it? Step into the portal. All right. Here we go. Let's get it going. I know, Minnesota in May. It's going to be winter. That's what I said. Should I wear a parka? All right. Here we go. So here is the final panel of this for this part of the campaign. So we show up with Venom here. And Goblin says, "You finally decided to join me. I thought you'd be faster." "Shut it, Norman. I'm so done with you right now," says Gwen. "Manners, young lady. Although, I'd imagine you're exhausted. You've been through quite the ringer." And he says, "Unfortunately for you, this is only the beginning." And then we see Venom here. "Ah! By the way, I should thank you for returning my experiment. The pieces that I dissected are really nothing without the whole." And then he combines with Venom, the symbiote. "You may have stopped Osborn before, but you won't stop us. We are Venom Goblin." And here he is over here. So there we go. Okay. So, yeah, Vast was the precursor to Root, which I think is a lot more popular now as well. All right, let's see. This looks a little funky. We're going to see if we can work on that a little bit. Okay, I'm not going to read through all this. I will read this story for you, and this is summarized, and I think I can explain it personally better than reading all this, which I think is kind of boring when somebody just reads it to you. So, here we go. Using a device he completed during your slog through Oscorp, Norman Osborn finally twists the Venom symbiote to his will, binding with it. This triumvirate of terror takes to the skies of New York City, dropping symbiotic goo on unsuspecting citizens, attempting to create the army he was previously denied. So he's back. Green Goblin mutagen formula is back. So we're going to shuffle in our Venom Goblin set here with the symbiotic strength set, which has 9 cards in it. I actually have 2 of the symbiotes set to the side because I'm going to need to put them into play. As well as I am going to shuffle in, what else is here? Oh gosh, no, I lost my place. The Goblin Gear set. So I have Goblin Gear right here. This is a 6-card set. Some of these are rough and need to be detached. Well, specifically this one is how I lost the other game. And then the Standard Encounter set. So I have the Standard set here. I also have the 3 Oscorp techs that we're going to have to do, and Smear Campaign, and my obligations. Those all get shuffled in. Technically, it gets shuffled in as part of it, but I don't think it matters too much. So we shuffle it. We put Public Outcry out. We've got that one again. That one seems to come out every time. Shuffle Smear Campaign in, and then we go back to our campaign and we shuffle any of the ones from Sinister Assault that were still in play, but we had no villains in play. We eliminated them all on the Sinister Six, so that worked out well. And so we don't have to shuffle any of them in. And then we're going to go through our instructions of setup for, hold on, help me out, for the campaign. So we're just going to get this shuffled up, and then I'll switch up the camera and show you all the other things that we need to do. All right. So we will zoom this out. Yeah, I hope at some point that I'll be able to catch up with people, whether it be that Con of Heroes or Gen Con or Dice Tower East or other things. PAX Unplugged this year, maybe, if you're going to be in Philadelphia. I know some people are international, so none of that will work, but we'll go from there. All right, so I guess we do all the regular setup actually first. So we have Venom Goblin here. He is steady. He has 16 health per player, and I will show you how he interacts. He's a 2/2. When he switches over to this one, he's steady and tough, and I'll deal 2 face down encounter cards each player. So if you're familiar with Green Goblin Mutagen formula, he does the same thing, and stage 3 will deal 3 face down. We're not going to get to stage 3, so that is Venom Goblin. Then we have this Public Outcry in play. We've got his 32 health here. And our A one here says put Lower Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan, and Upper Manhattan. And this is exciting for me because I live right outside New York City. It's about 2 hours away, and actually hoping to go in a couple weeks. So that's very close to home for me here in Connecticut. In case people are wondering, the Goblin Gear is a modular set, and the Symbiotic Strength is a needed set because it's what makes him Venom. So that's why, right? He's Goblin Venom. So this set gives him Goblin and some Venom, and then that one gives him Venom. It's the same set that is in the Venom set. So we put these ones into play. We place a glider counter out. So we're going to use this token as the glider token. There's no glider token in the box. And then we flip this card and set it aside. So this card actually gives us the details of how all these things interact. So we're going to have 3 different... Set this aside for now. We're going to have 3 different schemes out here. So we're going to have Midtown, Uptown, and Downtown, or sorry, Lower Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan, Upper Manhattan. And we're going to start with that on Midtown. That's going to start with 4 on it, although the campaign is going to tell us to add an additional 1 per player. So this is the main scheme. So this card here is telling us player cards that affect the main scheme can apply to any main scheme. Encounter cards that affect the main scheme only apply to the scheme with the glider counter, okay? Including the placing of acceleration tokens. So if I'm supposed to put an acceleration token out, it only goes on this one. It is not a +1 universal. So that helps to keep this a little bit more under control. All right, including this one here that's printed. This one will only apply to the one that has the glider counter on it for that turn. So it gets a little more in control. I grew up in Midtown. There you go. Nice. And then each main scheme accumulates threat each round according to its acceleration value and any acceleration tokens on that scheme. So again, it only applies to those. This one starts with 1 per player, so we're going to put 2 on it. And then they each have a special ability. Lower Manhattan is special is place 1 threat on each scheme. And if there's a symbiote environment in play, then place an additional threat on this scheme. This one is take 2 indirect damage. If there's a symbiote, take an additional indirect damage. And this one is discard 1 card from your hand. It's not random. And if there's a symbiote, discard the top 4 cards of your deck. Now, what happens is these can scheme out. So this can get to 10 per player, which is 20 for us. And if it does, it flips. That section is destroyed. And when this is revealed, we move the glider counter and acceleration tokens to the one with the least threat. Sorry, I'm talking too fast for my brain. And if there are 2 symbiote environments in play, we lose. So our loss condition is this, with these threading out. It is a little confusing. Nowhere in the book or anywhere does it say when this gets to 20 to flip it over. It's clearly intended. I know people don't like the word clearly, so I don't mean it in any kind of negative, like you should understand, you must understand. It would do better if it was explained somewhere, but it's definitely intended to work that way. And so if 2 of these go, then that's how we lose the game. So we're trying to keep all these under control. They will all add threat. They're all 1 per player. So I'm going to add 2 to them each turn. And we're going to hope I can keep that under control and not run out of threat tokens over here. Because we'll have to go to dice or something like that. Okay. Oh yeah, Steve's goblin laugh is very good. Something like that. All right. So I'm just going to set this up here so people know. So this is the setup card, and then the back, it gives you all those hints so you don't get confused. So player cards Can apply to any main scheme. So if I was to put Under Surveillance into play, I can pick where to put it, but anything that applies there. Now, when Goblin activates, whether he schemes or he attacks, afterward he has a forced response, which is after he activates, he's going to move the glider to the place with the least threat, and then add 2 threat or activate the special ability there. When he goes to level 2, then he only activates the special there. And the third stage is he places a threat and activates that. This one is placed 2 threat. Okay? So he's going to be moving all around. He's going to place 4 additional threat each turn when he activates, unless we stun and confuse him. But he's steady, so he takes double stuns, double confuses to get there. So it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot moving around and whatnot. You're definitely going to want a nice glider token when you get to this. And I'm going to do my best to not make mistakes. I think so far I've done pretty well. I don't think the biggest thing I did is I forgot Venom on one of those. That was probably the biggest mistake I made. And I ended up having to start that one over, so it wasn't a big deal. And I'm sure I've missed little things like, oh, you can't trigger that. You're not in hero form, but those are just standard things and whatnot. I scared everybody. I answered your question. What changes the glide counter? Hey, there you go. Awesome. All right, yeah, if you have more questions, feel free to put them in there. You don't necessarily need to put them in caps because it's not going too fast for me, but if it does. All right, so now we have to go through the setup for the campaign. This is definitely what adds to the fiddliness, is the campaign having all these things in play already, too, and whatnot. Again, I say it's fiddly, but I don't think I mind. If everybody's fiddly all the time, it gets to be a lot. But I think it's kind of fun for this one. All right, so we put our shield tech in. We upgrade it. We place an additional threat on the main scheme for each player. I did that. We shuffle the Oscorp cards in. Done. I search the encounter deck and discard pile for a minion. So we're each going to take an enraged symbiote. These are exact same ones that are on Venom. We get our shield cards. They become enhanced cards. Then we each search our deck and discard pile for a copy of the card we want from planning ahead. I generally took people's advice on the stream, so I'm going to take Genki Lee here, and I'm going to take George Stacy here. Those seem like good staple cards. Note that they are, well, I guess he's not so much an alter ego card, or him, but they're much better in alter ego. I am an alter ego fan. And this one I'm going to build, because I want to flip him and try to take him out. If not the turn I flip him, the turn after. I don't want to try to survive anything beyond that. Okay. The first player must search the encounter deck and discard pile for a scenario-specific scheme. So this one comes from Venom Goblin, Festering Mass. While there are no other symbiote environments in play, this card is considered a symbiote environment, so it would trigger all of these. If another one comes in play, it doesn't count for a loss condition. So that has 5 threat and an acceleration on it, and it also adds, the campaign adds 1 per player to that as well. So there's some setup here. And then last, we can each search our collection and take a helicarrier support and put it into play under our control. So it's not even in our deck. We each get a helicarrier, which is unbelievably good. And that's that. Sadly, I did not get enough points. 25 is the threshold where we would each start with a symbiote suit in play. That would be a ton of fun. So I'm sad that I didn't track for all of this. You got to get to 25. So over 4, you've got to average 6.25. So you've got to be very high on this to be able to get that. But then we would each start with a symbiote suit, which would be, we'd be drawing additional cards, but we'd have plus 10 health, plus 2 cards, all sorts of stuff. But we'll save that for the fun. Steve, I guess I tried to do your laugh. All right, so that is everything set up. So what are we going to do here? Oh, we also get to double mulligan. We are going to try to get rid of this stuff and get rid of this. Then we are going to control threat. We're going to build, and we're going to try to get to the point where he's down to 1 or 2 health, and we flip him, and I don't think these decks are powerful enough to take them down in 1 turn, but we're going to try to deal with just those cards and hope it's not too bad on us. All right. Could be better to not have the suit. That is true. All right, we got some double. We got some field agent. We got some Spider-Woman. We really want to get rid of this is our main focus. So I'm going to toss a bunch of these because that's not enough threat removal for us. And see what we get. All right, we got this Homeland Intervention so we can exhaust our cards to get rid of things. And we got a swing in. So that's going to be pretty good. Do we not want this Sky Destroyer? Let's see. 2's going to play Genki Lee. I'm going to draw a card. Does this need an energy? Then I could play this Sky Destroyer. Right? Then I could use this, and I could use the 2 Helicarriers in order to play the swing in, and that should be some pretty good threat removal. So I think we're in good shape. Then we take Genki Lee and put him in hand. I think technically I'm supposed to mulligan and then go get Genki Lee, but to me it feels the same. So there's that. I'm actually not going to worry about these darts because I really want to focus on keeping this under control. The next time I flip down, I'll get things on the darts. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is a phantom flip. There's a ticket to the multiverse. That is pretty nice. I'm not going to worry about that, though, because that can get shuffled back in. But that is going to be key to our final turn. We're going to have Ticket to Multiverse down, and we're going to play a double turn to try to take him out. All right, so we'll keep this plan B because that can go down. There's another Phantom Flip, so we have got threat covered. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we've got a George Stacy here. All right. If all goes well, we'll be starting Expert Campaign Monday. There you go. There are 4 symbiote suits. Yeah, thank you. Oh, what else is here? The Clown Prince. All right. Good luck, Steve. We will construct decks when we play the Expert Campaign. We will play Miles and Gwen, and then there'll be a third one that we'll mix in there. I'd love to just play Rocket, to tell the truth, but I'm just going to play Rocket on my own. Okay, here we go. We've got that all planned out, figured out. Now we just got to execute. So we are going to use 2. We're going to use energy to play Genki Lee. Genki Lee is going to draw us a card. We're going to draw a Global Logistics. Then we are going to... What are we going to end up exhausting to remove that threat? It's actually not too bad. I could put this guy into play and then use this one, but we need one for swing in, right? All right, maybe we'll do it. So we'll use Global Logistics and this Helicarrier in order to play Government Liaison, and then Government Liaison and the double strength will play the Sky Destroyer. Then I'm going to flip to Miles. Oh, I'm off by 1, aren't I? I am. I don't need to play the swing in, though, right? I will exhaust and attack this Enraged Symbiote, so it's gone. And then I'm going to play Homeland Intervention, and I am going to exhaust up to 3 shield cards, so 1, 2. And that's going to get rid of 4 threat on a scheme. So I'm going to bring this one down to 3. 2 per card I exhaust. All right, and then I'm going to hold my swing in for next turn because I was 1 resource short. I missed that. All right, so then over here I am going to use Spider UK to play George Stacy. I'm going to exhaust George Stacy and put a Phantom Flip on him. I am going to flip to Gwen to Ghost Spider. I'm going to attack. And when I attack, I'm going to trigger Phantom Flip, which will remove 5 threat. I'm going to get rid of this Festering Mass. And I'm going to attack here. So by the way, that's 1, 2, 3 that have left play. So that Public Outcry is almost gone. And then I'm going to use... Oh, sorry. I'm going to ready George Stacy. That was on this... Oh, no. I'm not going to ready George Stacy. I'm going to shuffle... Well, no. I apologize. I'm going to ready George Stacy, put this on him on that side. I forgot. And use the Helicarrier to put down Plan B. That was supposed to be on the other side. And then the next time I flip down, I will switch, put Ticket to the Multiverse in there. All right. You may play his cards from your hand, exhaust him, attach 1 event from your hand face down. Okay, they're supposed to be face down. I don't understand the face down thing, so it's just easier for me to see what's in there. I think it's probably supposed to not confuse you, is my guess. She readies, and then I will exhaust, and I will deal 2 damage to Venom just to get the train rolling. Woo, woo, big train's coming to town. All right, let me check for questions people have. Wow, there's so much going on here. Oh, the ticket for the double resource. I didn't even think about that. 7 cards starting hands. Yep. Uh-oh. I seem to have slowed down. Nope. I'm good back here. I'm slow over here for a second. Yeah, it's a good point. I missed that. Oh, thank you, Eric. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I probably should have held the ticket and I could have used it as a double resource. So that's a great point. I missed that. Little things that just take time. Ooh, good. There's a Maria Hill, although I will be second. So I can swing in, maybe get Agent 13 down. She can do work. And away we go. All right. So here we go. So we're adding threat. We got to add 3 threat here because this is the main scheme and public outcry is still here. And then 2 on each of these. Go here. Now he is going to attack. So he's going to attack Spider-Man. He's attacking me for 2. Do I have anything from Ghost Spider to trigger? I have the punch and pirouette. I have a phantom flip. So that's what I'm actually going to do. I am going to exhaust with Ghost Spider to block. She's going to block for 3. And I'm going to use Spider-Man and return the favor in order to play phantom flip. So that will ready me and remove 5 threat from a scheme. So I'm going to remove 5 threat there. And then I'm blocking for 3. And he deals 4 total damage. So I take 1. I'm down to 9. Then he's going to attack Ghost Spider again. And I'm just going to block here. He's going to attack for 2. Plus 3 is 5. So I block 3 of it. I take 2. I'm down to 7. And then we each get a card. His is going to be Spreading Panic. So, oh gosh. I'm sorry, everybody. After he attacked here, then I'm going to move this to the scheme with the least threat and either trigger its ability to discard a card or add 2 threat. Sorry, first turn I missed his mechanic, which is the perfect time to explain it. So that's going to go there. Then he attacked her. Now it moves to the one. They all have the same. So I'm going to move it back to this one. And I'm not going to take 2 indirect damage. I'm going to add threat there to make that 6. So sorry about that. All right, now resolve the special ability of the scheme with the glider counter. So I'm going to take 2 indirect damage. I am down to 7. Then over here, oh, and it had a surge on it. Ugh, he's going to attack me again. So I will block. He's going to attack me for 2, plus 1 is 3, and I take 1, and then he activated, so he's going to move to this one and add 2 threat. So it's a lot of moving and adding threat. All right, and then over here, my card is Swinging Assault. The villain attacks you, give the villain 1 additional boost card. Yikes. All right, I could just be dead. So, yep. So he attacks me for 3, place a threat on each scheme. So he attacks me for 5, I'm down to 2, and the boost is... Oh, shoot. I gotta go back. It was perfect time. So he did that. I am going to trigger Pirouette and Punch, and I'm going to cancel it. So this doesn't happen. I'm just going to shuffle these cards back in. So I cancel his assault so he doesn't attack me there. I need to not take that hit. And it has 2 icons on it, so I deal 3 damage back to him. Thanks. I hate doing that, but sometimes. So now, and I don't ready because I already readied during that phase, so I can't use it there. So I got nothing. Here I got no cards. I don't have anything that I can do. So I'm just going to flip down. Did anything come into play? Nope. Flip down. I'm going to save my helicarrier, and I'm going to shuffle my Ticket to the Multiverse back in. So I got no turn. Yes, I agree. You keep Ticket to the Multiverse to use until you want to put it in play. It's very good. All right, so now Miles is going to go. So we're thinking we want to control some threat here. So I'm going to use our 2 helicarriers, 1, 2, to play Maria Hill. I'm going to... Oh, actually, I don't even need to use a helicarrier. I can use this government liaison. So Maria Hill comes into play. We each draw a card. I draw a double life. Gwen draws a young love. Actually could be pretty good. And then I can trigger my Sky Destroyer to deal 2 damage. Because whenever I play a shield card, I can exhaust that. So that would be that plan. And then I have this swing in, but I also have Agent 13, which might be where I want to go for now. Will I draw a double? Can I survive? Maybe she should have stayed flipped up. That would have been my better plan, I think. But I could just block with him, with her. All right, so I'm going to put Agent 13 into play so we can get her rolling. I will remove 2 threat from this scheme. And then she readies a shield card. Oh, look it. I can hold swing in because I can use this helicarrier. She can then ready this helicarrier. Which doesn't quite get me anywhere. This is a hero action, so I can't discard this, unfortunately. But I can flip him down next turn, and she'll heal both of them with that Young Love. So I will hold this card. And then Maria Hill will remove 2 threat here to bring this one down lower. I'm just going to block with Maria Hill. Is going to be my plan. All right, we ready everybody up. We're going to hold on to this swing in, which I realized would have given me tough, so that probably was a better play than Agent 13, but in the long run, we'll be happy. All right, we got Monica Chang, we got Spider-Man, and whatnot. Over here, we're going to hold this card, and, ooh, there's a Bracelet. That's always good to see. You don't need 2, but you definitely need 1. Bracelet, Ghost Kick, Skilled Strike. So we might let those Ghost Kicks be held down here for a little bit. We're going to get that Bracelet out. That Spider-Man can help us do stuff as well, so that's good. We also want to get this Public Outcry out of here. All right, looks like everything's good there. So we had 3 threat here, 2 threat here, and 2 threat here. Then he is going to attack Miles. I'm going to block with Maria Hill, so he's going to attack for 2, plus place 1 threat on each scheme. Did I forget to do that last time? I did. So I need to put 2 threat on each scheme. Oh, no, because I canceled it. Right. That was that whole thing where I had her play. That was a little bit of cheating. But hey, just trying to get used to playing this. Then he's going to activate. So this one has 8. This one has 5. So he's going to come over here and add 2 threat to this. I can trigger the ability and discard a card, which if I was playing at my own, I could probably be like, oh, you know, if I just had 1 here, I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to need Monica Chang. These 3 are going to play him, and I'll be all set. But I'm just adding the threat and keeping the threat under control. Both of them can do pretty well. All right, and then over here, he's going to scheme for 2 plus 3, I was saying. And then move this to the one with 8 and add 2 to that. And that one goes to 10. All right, and then we each get cards. 1 here, 1 here. Oh, I did that backwards. She was first. Sorry. Those are those little mistakes. All right, we get an Enraged Symbiote here. That's actually good because this will attach to it. And I want to use that, and I want to get rid of this. And then we get a Symbiotic Berserker. So if there's a symbiote environment in play, then he gains Quick Strike. He's a 0/3, but there is not. I got rid of that one that would have counted as 1. All right, so this passes over to Miles. So Miles is going to go here. And as much as I love Spider-Man, he's not something I can play right now. I can get Monica Chang out. So I'm going to look to do that. So I'm going to use Government Liaison, Helicarrier, and Helicarrier. And I'm going to play Monica Chang. When she comes in, I search for a surveillance team. I put it in play. This board's going to get so busy. I'm going to move his health over here. I'm going to move her health similarly over here to have a little more board space. This is going to get busy. Hold on. Hold on to your butts. I'm going to tuck this under here so we have some space. All right, so now we've got the surveillance team, and we're going to add 1 to it. So it's got snoop counters. Then we played this Sky Destroyer, so we're going to exhaust it and get rid of the symbiote. When we do that, that'll get rid of Public Outcry, and that will go to our victory display. She will get this back and draw 2 cards and discard a card. So we're going to discard this Parental Guidance because we don't need to add another card or go find him. Cool. So we got more cards. All right. Now we are going to exhaust Agent 13 to get rid of 2 threat from this scheme. Take a damage and then ready the helicarrier. Okay, this guy, she's going to ghost kick him. So, can I play this power within? Yes, I can use this helicarrier to play this power within. Then I'm going to use Spider-Man and Web Shot to play swing in. So that's going to remove 4 threat from a scheme. So we're going to remove 4 threat here and then trigger my camouflage ability, which is confuse an enemy. So we're going to confuse Goblin, which remember he's steady. And we're going to tough ourselves. Then we are going to exhaust. In order to remove 2 threat, we're going to get rid of 2 threat here. Bring this one down. And when we do that, we're going to play Power Within, which we're going to discard to deal 2 damage to an enemy. We're going to deal it to Goblin, and we're going to stun him. So now he's stunned and confused, but he's steady, so he's neither. Okay, then we will flip down, and we will shuffle a card back in. It's got to be a Spider-Man card, otherwise I would have gone with Maria Hill. So I'm going to shuffle Swing In, because I'm just going to keep that threat under control. So I don't want damage yet. The next time I go through my deck, if he's dwindling down, I'm going to shuffle in the Web Shots so that I can do that. So that gets shuffled in, and then Genki Lee is going to draw us a card. And he's going to draw a Web Shooter. I'm actually going to discard the Web Shooter so that I can put 3 tokens on my Compact Darts. So I have some there. That Web Shooter is good, but I've got a second one. All right, then she's going to be able to flip and get him. So we are going to use Monica Chang and the Surveillance Team. And we're going to get rid of 2 threat off of this one. That one's 10, that one's 12, that one's 11. It's confusing that it goes that way, but hey, that's how it works. All right, anybody got questions so far? It's all in my head, I promise. It's just a matter of making sure that I say it all. All right. So we are going to... Oh, man, I got this Young Love, huh? Oh, I want to use that so bad. I want Young Love so bad. Then I wouldn't punch him out. He schemes for 0, so we're not worried about it. Okay, so we're going to use a jump flip to play Young Love. That is going to be our team-up card. First time we played it, we each heal 3 because we are in this, and that gives us full health. I think that's going to be important. Then I can shuffle Ticket to the Multiverse back in. Ready George Stacy. I'm going to give George Stacy a Ghost Kick. I'm going to flip to this side. I am going to... Dang, it's so close. I'm going to use my Ghost Kick and my Spider-Man to play a Web Bracelet, because you definitely want to have one of these out on her. I am going to exhaust. I got this. I'm going to exhaust and use Skilled Strike. Good call by whoever told me to put that in there. That's going to deal 4 damage to him and draw me a card with the Web Bracelet. And then I'm going to use Plan B to discard a random card and deal 2 damage to an enemy, so he's out. He had 0 thwart, so it wasn't that big a deal. I'm now readied, and I'm just going to keep letting Miles do that. I'm going to deal 2 damage because I can. All right, there we go. We ready everybody up. So this is generally my plan now when I play 2 players, just to flip back and forth. I know people aren't as big of a fan of Alter Ego. Her Alter Ego isn't as good. I would admit his is very good. I'm drawing a card, shuffling a card back in, and refilling the darts. Like, it's real good. And getting an extra card. But hers isn't quite as good, just being able to do that, but just the turns to flip down and put threat on instead of other things is the idea here. All right, so I'm going to draw 6. I got 2 of these Global Logistics. I haven't really used these. They seem like they could be good to mill cards out of there, so maybe I'll have some extras and be able to try that. Because there are some nasty cards in there I'd like to get rid of. All right, it's a 0-cost card, and I have to exhaust a shield card I control. The interesting part is that this is a shield card, so the campaign is really helping you out, for sure. It'll be interesting to see how this goes, expert without the campaign. But then I can look at 4 cards and discard any and put any on the top or bottom, however I want, which is really good for deck control, which is kind of a neat part that Shield is going to start to be able to do now, is some of that control. All right, she's going to draw 5 cards over here. Let's see if we can get something to block with. No. I got to remember that pirouette and punch. That I have that if I want to cancel, especially activations. That's what I want to cancel against him. So, all right, we got rid of this. So now we're just adding 2 threat to all of the schemes. 2 here, 2 here. This one goes to 11. 2 here. This one goes to 8. So we got 2 8s and an 11. Yeah, I definitely think you could play Gwen that way and just keep her up and defend. Again, I like to put threat on here and then be able to flip back and forth. So I like the idea of controlling threat. It's a very slow play style. When I went fast, that's when I lost to him. So that's what I'm doing here. But certainly there are other ways that people could do it as well. All right, so he adds all that threat, and then he is going to scheme against Miles Morales. I have the token here to remind me. So he's going to scheme for 2. +1 is 3, so 3 will go on this one to bring this one to 11. And then it's going to move to the one with the least and add 2 there. Again, I could discard a card from my hand instead of adding the threat, so that might be smart once these get above halfway. Then he's going to attack Ghost Spider. I have a Ghost Kick, so I think I'll do that. So I'm going to use my Strength to block and Ghost Kick. So I will hit him for 6, ready, and Web Bracelet to draw a card. So you can see all those good things I can do. The second Web Bracelet can be good because then you can use 1. It's only 1 per activation, but I don't know that it's key. So that deals 6 damage to him, brings him down to 15. Awesome. Yeah, I think there's definitely, this is a new thing here, for sure. This whole shield thing. I even wonder about these basic cards that are shield and what you can do with that, and then thinking about heroes who have shield. So I agree that's a very exciting part of it, Martin, is we've got another thing going on that we want to try out. All right, so I'm blocking for 3. He's attacking for 2. +1 is 3, so I block it all, and then he's going to move to the scheme with the least. So this is the case that I double-checked. And so there's 10, 11, 11. He's going to move it to the one with the least. So move does not mean it must move. If it doesn't move, it doesn't work. It's essentially like the glider goes up and then it finds the one even if it lands in the same spot and triggers that. So that's going to go to 12. So 12, 11, 11. They're all at less than half except this one. So we're in okay shape. All right, Miles is going to get a card. Gwen's going to get a card. Miles is going to get Spreading Panic. So we're going to resolve this, and we have to discard a card. There's no symbiote. So we will discard one of these Global Logistics. It had Surge. So now I'm going to get another Surge. Give the villain a face-down boost card. She's got that boost. And that will Surge. I'm not going to worry about canceling that one. And then Webbed Up. So Webbed Up is exactly like Spider-Man's. I attach it to my identity. The next time I attack, I discard it, and now I'm stunned, and then I have to get rid of my stun. So that can be rough. And I get a Symbiotic Thrall. So this Thrall is a 1-2 with 4 health, and it has Guard. And if there's a Symbiotic play, it also has Patrol. But there's no Symbiotic environment. Pass over here. Ghost Spider's turn. She is ready. So very simply, I'm going to discard these 2. I am going to play this Web Bracelet, contrary to what I said. I am then going to attack and use Skilled Strike. Again, I'm so happy people told me to use Skilled Strike. It's the perfect card for her. I'm going to discard that Thrall because I deal 4 to him, and I'm going to trigger the Web Bracelet I just played to draw a card, which is a Plan B. I'm going to use George Stacy to attach this card here, and then I'm going to use this Plan B to deal 2 damage to an enemy. It's discard a random card. I will then exhaust and deal 2 more damage. Flip down, and I don't have anything to do, right? Nope. I will ready him in case I draw a card somewhere. Oh, this should have been on him. So when I killed him, I should have drawn 2. I get 2 jump flips, and I can put a jump flip on George Stacy. Perfect. Right, whenever something comes into play, that attaches to it. Yep, thanks, Bromby, I just caught it. All right, over here, I've got this annoying webbed up. I've got Genki Lee, so let's exhaust him to draw a card. Draw a card, it's a web shot. All right, I got a bunch of web shots, not the most important. I'm going to use my government liaison to put down a field agent. So a field agent will come in with 3 tokens on it. Then, and then that is a shield card, so I will use my Sky Destroyer to deal 2 damage, bring that down to 9. Then I am going to flip. I don't need more tokens, I don't think. And I'm going to play a web shot. I'm going to use the 2 helicarriers. So the 2 helicarriers will web shot. It's going to fizzle because I attacked and now I'm stunned. And then I'm going to exhaust to get rid of my stun, and this is gone. All right, then I will play... I'll play this Homeland Intervention and exhaust 1, 2, 3. I'm going to exhaust 3 cards and get rid of 6 threat from something. So I'm going to get rid of 6 threat on this. 2 per card I exhaust. Shield card specifically. I'm going to use Agent 13 and use Field Agent so that she doesn't take any of that. That'll ready my helicarrier. Is it helicarrier that I need readied? Sure. And she's going to remove 2 threat, so we'll remove 2 threat here to bring this one down. She doesn't take that damage. Then we're going to play Global Logistics. Yeah, I guess I didn't need to ready the helicarrier, so I'll just ready the surveillance team and use it to get rid of 1 threat off of this one. Bring this down to 10. I'm going to play the Global Logistics. Oh, I don't have a shield card. All right, so I'm not getting rid of the one there. And I'm going to try this card instead. And I look at the top 4, and I can get rid of any of these cards. Aha! So we will get rid of Advance. And we will get rid of this tracking display. This is nasty. I can't defend against his attack, so that was perfect. This deals indirect damage. Okay. I'm not going to worry too much there because he's tough, so I'll just put that on top, and then this one adds threat to the main scheme. Oh, without the glider. I think I might have missed that. So it's just going to add 2 threat. I might just leave that and deal with it, right? This way. So now I know it's there. Okay. And then, what is happening? So I should have been able to discard a card for these darts. All right, well, I'll hold these 2. That was a little bit my man. I'm going to try to get Dum Dum Dugan in play because he'll be good for the end game. Maybe this can keep him alive enough, so I think he'll be good, although there's a lot of allies in this deck. All right, so you can see threat can be controlled, but it can't really be fully controlled. So at some point, I have to switch. I see there's a bunch of chatter there. Try to jump over there in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. Yeah, Miles' deck is really good. Yeah, I know it's hard. It's hard watching me watching me flip down, but it works. Well, I hope it works is the idea. None of these are at half, just to clarify. So it looks like there's a bunch of threat, but this can go to 22 and it's at 9. This can go to 12 and it's at 11. This can go to 20 and it's at 6. So they aren't halfway. But yeah, no, I get it. I know people like Hero Form better. I like Alter Ego better, so I tend to go to it. But, you know, it could be my downfall at some point for sure. We shall see. Maybe he'll be on my side and hope. All right, so here's where I think his steady is actually bad for him. Good for us. Oh, there's going to be a bonus card here. Arachnobatics simply says if they have a stun or confuse. So if he was stunned or confused, he would lose that activation, but I wouldn't be able to deal all that damage. So going into the end game, I actually want these on him so that these Arachnobatics deal 8 damage. So that was one part that I was like, by him being steady, it actually, although phase 3, he's stalwart. So that goes away. All right. Yeah, no, it's a slow play, Megadolodine. It, to flip every turn and let threat go on and then spend turns removing the threat. The idea is to not let damage or threat, right? They're coming equally, and then I can remove them while I'm building to add more cards and then eventually go in for that kill, which I think is once I get Ticket to the Multiverse down will be the next key piece. After that, I've got most of the things I want. I would like to have Spider-Man because Spider-Man can ready Miles, so I can deal additional damage and do things. All right, 2 threat goes on this scheme. 2 threat goes on this scheme. 2 threat goes on this scheme. She has protection too, but she doesn't have a ton of stuff that like she protects with. I've got the jump flip, but that's all I have going on right now, so a little tricky on that front too. Is this a hero action? It is. All right, so there's all of those. He is going to scheme over here for 2 plus 0 plus add a threat to each of these ones. And 2 goes here, so this goes to 10. Now it's at halfway. Then this will move to the one with the least, which is this one, because this one has 11, and he will add 2 to it. I did also get rid of one of the advances. I don't know if the second one came out. No. So there's still 1 advance in there. All right, so that goes there. Then he's going to attack me over here. He's going to attack for 2 plus, if it's an attack, it deals indirect damage. So I put it all on Miles. It's a plus 3, so I take 5. All goes on Miles. He's tough. That's done. Then he activates. This one has 12. This one has 14. This one has 8, 12. So I will bring it over here. And this one is going to go up to 14. I don't see a 5, so I'll change the one for 3. All right, and then we get cards. Violent Tendencies. Attach the villain. After attached villain takes any amount of damage from an attack, give attached villain one face-down boost card. If that attack dealt 3 or more damage to attached villain, discard this card. So I need to deal 3 damage to him. And then I get a gang up, so he's going to attack me again. All right, so this time I'm going to block with Monica Chang. And he's going to attack me for 2, plus give the villain 2 boost cards for this activation. 1, 2. All right. Move the glider counter to the main scheme with the most threat. Place 1 threat on that scheme. 14 and 14 and 12. So we'll put it here and add 1. And then he's attacking for 5. And she's going to take that. Then it's going to move to the one with the least and add threat there. Ooh, we got a lot of threat to control. And her card was all set, right? And nothing came in. No minions or anything. All right, so this passes to Miles. I hear you. I definitely, you're probably right. I could probably flip Miles and not flip her, but it's worked for me. But it definitely bothers people when I do it. I know that. I get it. All right, so I've got this Dum Dum Dugan. I've got this Arachnobatics, but I don't think I'm ready to flip him yet. So, Government Liaison, Helicarrier, this Helicarrier, that's 3. I will use my Double Life and my Arachnobatics, and I'm going to play Dum Dum Dugan. So he can thwart for 3, he can attack for 3, and I can exhaust shield cards to add additional to him is the idea. When he comes into play, I have the Sky Destroyer, so that will deal 2 damage. So he's down. Oh, wait, hold on. Takes any amount of damage from an attack. So he didn't take any damage from an attack. So speaking of that, I probably should web shot him. But I got all that threat. So I could have Dum-Dum Dugan do that. All right, so I'll have Dum-Dum Dugan attack him for 3. He will take a face-down boost and get rid of this card. And I will use the field agent, so Dum-Dum Dugan only takes 1. Then I'll have Agent 13 remove 2 threat from this one to bring it down. And she will go to 3, and then she will ready one of these helicarriers. All right, then I will play Homeland Intervention, and I will exhaust this helicarrier, compact darts, and this surveillance team to remove 6 threat. So we'll remove it from here. I guess I'll hold this web shot. I will exhaust Spider-Man to remove 2 threat from this one, which is at 15 out of 24. I will flip down. I will shuffle the Arachnobatics back in. I will draw a card with Genki Lee. It's Jefferson Davis. I will discard him. Actually, yeah, I'll discard him and put darts, even though I don't think I'm going to need him. And I'll hold the web shot for next turn. All right, so then Gwen Stacy is going to... She can't add any more to George Stacy, so we are done there. So we are flipping up. We are going to attack him for 1 and play a Phantom Flip. Phantom Flip will ready us and remove 5 threat from here. Trigger Web Bracelets. Draw, get a Web of Life and Destiny. I'll play it because it's free. I will then... Oh, I don't want to flip him yet. I want to flip him next turn. All right, so I'm going to use these 2 to play the Across the Spider-Verse and go get a spider hero, spider ally. Do I want this Spider-Man? Or do I want this one? I want this Spider-Man. So I'm going to get Spider-Man Hobie Brown. He will come into play. I will then exhaust George Stacy to put this Ghost Kick on him. And I will remove a threat, and he will remove 2 threat. And that'll bring that down to 10. All right. We're going to hold this. And we're going to go for the kill next turn. I don't know if I can do all that. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to get my ticket to the multiverse here, right? And a bonus card. So now I'll try to stay up in general. All right, so we got that 4 damage plus 36 on the other side. So we're going to try to deal 40 damage in a turn. Don't quite think I can do that, but can probably deal 30-ish damage, control the threat, and go from there. All right. Ready all this stuff up. Oops, what did I drop? Jefferson. All right, those cards are going to go there. He's going to draw. And I got a swing in and a web shot, and I got a defensive mechanism, so we'll be able to control a little. Yeah, I mean, the flipping down also just gets me an extra card every turn, which I know doesn't seem like a lot, but over a series of turns, but yeah, it's a huge board state. Hers are all compacted because he took all the space at first, but it's a lot for a precon for sure. For that. Okay, so this is all set here. He's got a bonus boost card. We've got this card as an additional encounter card. Hopefully I remember all that stuff. Those are those little ones that seem harder to remember. All right, when he flips, he's going to give me an additional encounter card, so I don't want to flip him or hit him anywhere here. So I'd love to Ghost Kick, but that would flip him, so we're going to do that on the next turn. All right, he's going to add 2 threat to all these schemes. He might go through his deck soon here. 2, 2, so that one's now at 11, and 2 up here to go to 12. So they're mostly halfway. He is going to scheme here for 2 plus this. Is going to be 6. It's going to get close. So that one's going to go to 14. And then he's going to activate and go to the one with the least, which is here, which is 11. And that one's going to go to 13. Again, I could trigger those abilities, put threat on the other ones. He's going to attack Ghost Spider. What am I going to do? Am I going to jump flip out of this if he hits me too hard? Yeah, that's what I'll do. Right, I'm kind of ready. Silk. All right, I will exhaust and I'll jump flip out if he hits me for too much. That's an encounter card. So he's going to attack me for 2. Plus 2 is 4. So I'm going to play jump flip from here. Jump flip, I'm going to use bait and switch. And that's a lightning, so I reduce the damage by 2. I ready. I trigger a web bracelet. I draw a card, which is a return the favor. And I block that, and I remove 2 threat from the main scheme. Oh, my cards might be any scheme in that case, but we'll go with that one for now. All right, and then we get our encounter cards. 1, 2. So this one is going to be Shadow of the Past. So I tell you what I'm going to do. Little pirouette and punch. When a card is revealed from the encounter deck, deal damage to the villain equal to 1 more number of boost icons. Cancel its when revealed effect. Thank you. So we will do these 2 return the favors. We will cancel that card and deal 3 damage to him, which brings him to a nice 1. All right, there you go. And I can trigger Web Bracelet. So I got a Spider-Man there. All right, next card is going to be a Thrall, and the next one's going to be an Advance. So he is going to scheme for 2, plus 3 is 5, so that one's going to go to 16. And then he's going to go to the one with the least, 14, 12, and he's going to add 2 there. All right, here we go. Doesn't stuff happen when he moves the glider? On stage 1, he either triggers the special ability or I add 2 threat. So I've been adding threat and just keeping it under control. But you could choose to discard a card, take indirect damage. I probably could have taken indirect damage there at this point and whatnot. All right, here we go. So we are going to go... I blocked only once there. Yep, I'm good. How am I going to deal 1 damage? Where am I going to get 1 damage from? Who's got 1 damage? I guess it's just going to be her. Oh, I've got Silk here. But I want to get my ticket down. All right. I am going to go ahead and Skilled Strike and hit this guy for 4. Ready. Oh, and he would have had the wrist on him. Keep missing that one. Draw 2, keep 1. I'll keep the pirouette and punch. Then I will... come on. Where am I going to get a card? Where am I going to get a card? I can use that Ghost Kick. Just trying to get the 1 damage here. Okay, got it. I'm going to attack with Spider-Man Hobie Brown for 1. That's going to flip him. So Venom Goblin is going to go to the next stage. I will channel my inner Steve. I don't know. That wasn't as good as earlier. All right. So that's going to flip to that. So now he has a tough... Oh, darn it. He has a toughness. Screwed that up then. Can I play this one? I'd have to use that Ghost Kick. Okay, I can do this. So instead of that, I'm going to use these 2 cards to play Silk. Silk will do the same thing. When Silk comes in, I can get rid of a Treachery. So I'll get rid of this Swinging Assault. So that will flip him, give him a toughness. We each get 2 cards, so 2 here, 1 here. Acceleration goes on this scheme specifically. I've just been adding threat. I haven't been doing the other abilities. Now, he has to trigger the special abilities. So I'm hoping to just survive this 1 round and get out. All right, so he goes to 36 with the tough on him. Now I'm going to use Hobie Brown, get rid of the tough. When Hobie Brown leaves play, he triggers 2 things. He triggers Web of Life and Destiny, draws me a card. That's my parental guidance. And he draws 3 cards from the encounter deck and deals damage to the villain equal to that. 0, 0, 0. Darn it. That was going to be a good move. I was hoping to draw like 5 damage. All right. She's got 1 on her. Then I am going to use this Helicarrier and Parental Guidance to play Ticket to the Multiverse. And I could take another turn here. What has Miles got for damage? Not a lot, right? He's got 4 here, 3 here, 7, 8, 9. I've got 6. If I draw a card... let's just do it. Whatever. Okay, so I'm going to attack for 2, and that's going to bring him down to 34. Then I'm going to trigger my Ticket to the Multiverse, so I shuffle this back into this. I ready all of my cards, or all of Gwen Stacy's cards is what I mean, specifically, so Silk doesn't ready, and I draw a new hand. The Sky Destroyer deals damage if I put a shield card into play. So yeah, I don't have 36. I probably have 20. So then I've just got to figure out if I want to control threat or how I want to do that. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a Phantom Flip. There's a Ghost Kick. So I will exhaust. I already readied, right? So I can't do that again this turn. But I will play a Ghost Kick when I exhaust to fight him. That's 2 plus 6 is 8, so he's down to 26. And I trigger a Web Bracelet. Then, I think I can use the other one, right? But I will use George Stacy to put this... Wait, I can trigger more than one? When's my response window? I wouldn't have had it after I draw the card, right? All right, so I will put this Phantom Flip on him, and then I could discard a random card for 2 damage. Sure, I'll discard a random card, and it's my double resource, and I deal 2 more damage with Plan B. All right, that is that. Got him down to 24. All right, do I have 24 damage here? I don't think so. I will exhaust Genki Lee, draw a card. It's a double. That can play my swing in, but I could definitely get a lot of things going there. I don't need anything there, so we ready. We can play a surveillance team or a government liaison to deal 2 damage. But I think that just doesn't make sense. So we'll use... We'll use Agent 13 to remove 2 threat. So what's this at? 14. So we'll bring this one down. We'll use the Field Agent to keep her from taking that damage. And then we will use that to ready this Helicarrier. Then we'll use the Helicarrier and the Young Love to play the Web Shot, deal 4 damage to him. After we deal 4 damage, we do Venom Blast, so we deal 2 more. And we stun him, so he's actually officially stunned. Then we will trigger this, and we can deal 1 damage to 2 different targets, so he's down to 17. Spider-Man, well, see, I just got to control threat, though, right? At this point. Yeah. So we'll use this government liaison. We'll use this government liaison to play a defense mechanism. Then we will use a basic power to thwart for 2. 14, what's this one at? 17. So we'll bring that one down 2. After we do that, we're going to trigger defense mechanism so we can confuse him. So that's where I could have flipped down. And tough myself, but that's fine. He'll be stunned here and then tough over here. Then we will... we can play this surveillance team or play this swing in. Don't really need the swing in, but I guess it makes the most sense. So we'll use this swing in to remove 4 threat, and this one's 8 away, this one's 10 away, this one is at 15 out of 22, so 7. So we'll remove 4 here, and then we trigger those again, but we can't confuse again. Then Dum Dum Dugan will attack, and I'll exhaust these. 3, so he deals 6 damage. +1 for each of those cards. And he takes 2 consequential when he attacks. That's 11. All right, we got blockers, we got things. We just got to hope we get through this. Draw back up. We got 1 card left. We got an Arachnobatics. I mean, we've got the damage in hand. So this is it. This is what we all came for. And look, I'm in hero mode with both of them, I promise. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go. All these cards. Jump flip here, we'll keep it. To stay alive, that is the goal. We got a Ghost Kick. Oh, we could almost like, can I double Ghost Kick? Max 1 per basic power use. Ah, they know me too well. But I can ready and then block. I can actually beat him if I block both of his. That's interesting. All right, so he's going to add 3 threat here. Then he is going to attack Gwen, but he's stunned. He's then going to attack Miles for 3. And I'm good. He's just going to attack me. And it's going to be +3 is 6, so this tough goes away. And then after that, he's going to move this to the one with the least scheme, which is here, and I have to place 1 threat on each scheme. So I don't have an option now that I'm on this stage. I can't place the threat. I have to do the special ability. So that places 1 on each scheme. All right. So that moves there, and then we get our cards. And if we survive this, we've got to win. All right. First card is this one. So he gets additional boosts if I hit him. Then a Symbiotic Monstrosity. It has Retaliate, Steady, and Toughness, although it gets +3 health if there's a symbiote environment in play. It does not have Guard, though. So we are okay, and we will attach a Wrist Navigator to it. Next card is an Arm Cannon. Attached villain gains Overkill and Piercing. All right, there you go. Welcome, Fanaticism. And that has Surge on it. That will surge into a Spreading Panic. Resolve the special ability. Place 1 threat on each scheme, and that surges. So 1 threat here, 1 threat here. That goes to 19 out of 24. And 1 threat here goes to 14. It's going to surge into Gang Up. So I'm going to get attacked by both of these things, huh? All right. So when he does Gang Up... I will block. Oh gosh, no, what does that thing have? Overkill and Piercing. All right, that's okay. So I will use my Ghost Kick. I will deal 6 damage to him. He's down to 5. That will trigger me readying and using the Web Bracelet. Didn't have anything to cancel it, and I draw a double. Then he's going to attack me for 3. That doesn't add any damage. So he's going to hit me for 3 plus 2 is 5. So I take 2. And then he's going to move this to the one with the least, which is here. And we add a threat to each of these. That's going to get out of control in Expert. All right, then this Symbiotic Monstrosity is going to attack me. So I'm going to block. And I'm going to use Ghost Kick, and I'm going to deal 6 damage to an enemy. Dead on the villain phase. Don't have to deal with these cards. So I did get him down. It was just a little bit different in terms of all that. Whoo! Surge into +1 Overkill Piercing. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, arguably this card, comes from the kit. This is the from the campaign. This is the Osborne tech. So I'm getting Helicarrier every turn, upgraded abilities. He's getting this. But this one's cool. Like, this is something you can get rid of after a turn. Discard the highest card cost upgrade you control. So I would have had to get rid of Weapon, Life, and Destiny, or the Helicarrier that they gave me, and this would be gone. All right, there we go. Got him down on his turn. Let's see. So we got to go to the comic. Woo! And see what happens here. So victory. We win. We use the conditions to see where we end up, and then we get our final score. I'll do that in a minute. And we go to our comic, and it says, it shows them taking Goblin away, or Norman Osborn. Go easy on Eddie Brock. He did help us after all. Yes, but that doesn't erase everything else he's done. So this is Nick Fury here. And then it says, and Brock's going to want that back, He won't need it where he's going. Leave this to me, kid. I'm good at what I do. So that was Miles saying he's going to want that back, and that's the symbiote. Besides, it's late. Don't you two have curfews or something? So that's what Nick Fury says to them. And then he sneaks into his room in the middle of the night, looks for some food. His parents wake him up. Thank goodness you're finally home. I assume this is his dad. And his mom says, estábamos tan preocupados por ti, which is Spanish for we were so worried about you. And then they all hug. So that was nice. He was out, but his parents understood. Awesome. So let's get our final points here and see what our score is. And then you can all tell me how yours compared with that. All right. Victory points and victory display. 1. No minions in play. There is a minion in play. No side schemes in play. 2. No threat on the main scheme. I think this one would just count in that case, but still there. Fewer than 1 acceleration. Didn't I have an acceleration? Oh, I may have lost that on one of the turns there. And no defeated identity. So 1, 2, 3 is what it sounds like to me. And I end up with 24. No suit for me. And then there's little bubbles here. You can go further to get your score. So my final score would be 24. And now I try to beat my score in my next campaign or move on to the expert. That is that. We did it. Whew. Yeah, so Venom Goblin can really get out of control. You can see this threat was there, but again, if one of these flipped, I was still okay. It's not good, because all these start having triggered abilities, but I wanted to make sure that I could get him down. That was cool that she was able to double ghost kick to win that. So there you go, everybody. That is the Sinister Motives campaign. That is it played incomplete over 5 sessions. I didn't think I would do it that way. I thought I would sit a little bit longer, but I think it kind of makes sense and people can go watch who they want. Maybe people just wanted to see Sandman, and that works out for them. And maybe people wanted to see more. All right, so let's jump into the review. Are there any questions before I go into my review of the campaign and what I thought? I mean, it's initial impressions, but I feel pretty good about it. Probably the thing everybody wants me to do is rate it, right? Where does it fall amongst the other campaigns and whatnot? Definitely not Ronin. No, he was not Ronin. I agree. I don't even know that he was mutagen formula. It's fiddlier. That's what I wanted people to see, but not fiddly in a bad way and whatnot. I actually think that's a thing for the whole campaign. It's to make more theme. I think there's more theme here than some of the other ones. Any questions people have? Just giving people a minute because I think I'm actually like 30 seconds behind here. What I'm seeing on my screen is a little bit behind where I'm at. It wasn't as bad as learning it. I felt a lot better playing it there. That was cool to not have to deal with these encounter cards. To win on the villain's turn, which will be a fun Gwen Stacy thing she'll do, Ghost Spider. I think she'll do that a lot. Win on the villain turn. Whoa, that's a lot of rain. All right, cool. So I don't see too much here. And whatnot. All right, so let's go through this campaign. So there's the whole box here. There's everything that comes in here. So let's talk about Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy. Miles Morales is very powerful. He's consistently able to recycle cards, recursion, which is super powerful, and he's able to put out status. So anywhere where you're not dealing with steady or stalwart, he's going to be king. People are calling him S tier without playing him. I can see it because very simply, if you can just confuse something and tough, you've given yourself in solo 2 turns. You could just take a hit and then flip down and they're confused. So you've got that, and then the turn you flip up, you might be able to stun. So you can do a lot of status control right off the bat. So I do think that's going to make him very powerful in terms of his kit and whatnot. Now you start throwing steady in there and you start throwing stalwart and he loses some of that, but he's got very high efficiency cards. This swing-in card is incredibly efficient. This web shot card is incredibly efficient. And the fact that there's a lot of cards that I feel like we wish he had. He's got resources in his kit with card draw. He's got web shooters for those. And these cards are doubled. These 2 cards are so powerful. They go on the table and you trigger them when you do a basic power if you want to. So you wait until you want to put those status cards on. And there's a lot of cards like Brute Force that lets you pierce, but you have to use it. It's forced. These are not forced. That makes these incredibly powerful. So they've definitely made a hero that has that. I will get to the reputation system as well. How tall am I? 5'8". 5 feet 8 inches. So web shot and swing in, 2 for 4 damage, 2 for 4 threat removal. 2 for 4 threat removal is unbelievable. This should definitely be 2 for 3 and then do his ability, because on top of that, he gets a tough and he confuses for 2. This is the most powerful card that exists in the game right now. Okay? Tough, confuse, and remove 4. There's no card as powerful as this single card. He has 2 in his kit, and it's in his kit. So, hands down, that card is amazing, even compared to, I think, the Invocation cards as well. This does damage, and then it deals 2 more damage, and then it will confuse an enemy. That's also very powerful. The confuse an enemy on his thing is confuse an enemy, whereas this one is stun the enemy that you did the damage to. So that's interesting. So he's very, very powerful. He's going to be a darling for people because he comes right out of the gate, just firing. He's just ready to go. You just play his cards. Like even the cards under these upgrades, you just play them and you get them going. So that's him. I don't understand this double life card. Flipping, I understand flipping. He can recur a card, but you're paying. It's really to ready him, I think. You can flip and ready. You might be able to do some of your cards and then flip back down, or you can flip up, flip down, draw cards, and then heal, flip back up and ready. So it's that's what it does. You use this, you flip down, you heal because you're getting low. Then, you flip down, then you use this, you flip back up after you healed and you're ready. That's what this card is for. So I never really used it, but now I understand what that is. Okay, so then his Justice card. So the cool part about this Justice is that it is this whole shield build, and it's a whole new archetype. There's a whole new thing going on here with put shield cards down, and shield cards trigger off of shield cards. The interesting part is you're going to have to build like a 25-card shield deck, right? You're not going to be able to put in kind of your standards, one way or another, and your clear the areas and whatever else you're used to putting in. So it's going to kind of stick you to that. I do think there's some swap. Like, I think a lot of people are probably not going to play with Dum Dum Dugan, even though I do think there's a space for him, especially with Power in All of Us. And in anything that you could get a tough status card on him, or putting those field agents in so he doesn't take damage. Now you can have him out there dealing 3 damage a turn and not taking any if you get a bunch of these field agents. But I imagine a lot of people at 5 costs will avoid him. And I think that's fine. Agent 13, readying those cards. So you've got a whole new archetype in Justice, which will be really fun. But it's funny that it's in his kit because it's a slow build. I got all those cards out, but I was doing the slow flip, 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 flip. When I tried to do that against Mysterio, it did not work. When I did it here, it worked perfectly. So, you're going to have to know your style. If you like that slow build style, that permanent style, meditations could help you here to get those cards out. It's just awesome to have something to explore. I think there's people who are just going to say that. I don't know if this is going to be my favorite, but I want to explore something new. So that's going to be really neat. Let me see some of these here. That is his kit. I'll talk about reputation. That one didn't even seem too fiddly. No? Okay. I think there was a lot of triggering things, but don't forget you need to spend specific resources on those web shots and swings to trigger the specials. So it's not just auto triggers. No, it's a good point. But they were pretty easy, especially with the web shooters in his kit, which I didn't get down this game. It was weird. I tossed a web shooter at one point. But yeah, you're right. You have to do specific resources, so that could be something you would run into. So that's Miles. I think he's going to be the one that people initially adore because he's just, I mean, what do you do when you can control things that well and put status out and be that efficient? And he plays quick. So you're looking to get out of the game in 4 to 7 turns with Miles, right? He's playing that mid-game strategy. I think he's a rush character. I think he could rush pretty well if you put those cards in his deck. The interesting with the rush style is that you want the punches in there, and the other cards trigger off the other ones. Off the lightning and the mental, so you'd have to come up with something, with press the advantage and some of those that give you some of the other ones. Toe to toe, right? That has the mental on it, so that could be kind of interesting that he might build something different. I think he's fine long game, but he doesn't really build much of anything. He's got card draw, he's got resources, but he was doing well long game because I was building up the shield stuff. All right, then there is Ghost Spider. She is going to be a lover or hater. I mean, that's just what she's going to come down to. She is a combo-rific character. She is all about this interrupt and response. She's not amazing out of the gate. I think there's some cards you can use really well. I think some people are going to really like her because they're going to draw the Phantom Flips and the Ghost Kicks, because remove 5 threat and deal 6 damage is incredibly efficient. I mean, talk about efficient. That's more efficient than his card, but it's a little more specific without the status. So remove 5 threat, deal 6 damage for 2 is unbelievable. They've got some unbelievably powerful cards in these characters. And then when she plays them, she's readies. The web bracelets are interesting. You want to get 2 down because you want to thin your deck, but you really need 1. So kind of like the element gun on Star-Lord, you're going to be looking to put 1 of them out, and then when the other one comes, it comes. But I don't think you need to have 2 out. I think the focus is to get the 1 out there for her. Yeah, I will try to answer that question as well. How would I build them outside of the precons? So then she's got all these cool triggers. George Stacy is unbelievable how he gives her basically a +3 hand size. You just want to drop events on there. The Plan B card is actually kind of interesting in her because of having so many things that are focused on that, and you're trying to get them to George Stacy, and suddenly you just use a card to deal 2 damage. This card I thought was play this, discard a random card, deal 2 damage. It stays out. That's a pretty cool card for getting damage, especially in the fact that it's basic. This is a cool card for Justice and for protection that struggles sometimes to deal that damage. And suddenly to have this card where you're like, hey, I got an extra card, like Hulk, who's going to toss the card anyway, go to Plan B. So that's a pretty cool card. I actually don't mind that. I'm not putting 3 in my deck, but I would put 1 in there. I didn't really use these Return the Favors. I know it was like Return the Favor into Pirouette and Punch. Probably some of that was the low health on Standard that I could just fire my way there without needing to do a lot of fancy dancing, and I didn't know what treachery cards I was going to come across and how bad they would be. So she takes just a little bit of build. She's a little bit more of like a mid-game character than an early-game character. But the deck building, if you were into deck building, this is going to be one of your favorite new heroes. Because being able to deck build with all those interrupt and response, and every time a new pack comes out and looking, oh, that's a new interrupt, that's a new response, and those are going to be more plentiful than preparations and techs and some of the other things that we've seen Hero trigger off of. So that's going to be very, very exciting when new events come out. Events are probably now the most exciting card we can get, because if you get events, you're thinking, what can Gamora do? What can Miss Marvel do? What can Gwen Stacy do? Those are your 3 event-driven characters, and they're just going to change up the way you play every single time. So if you are into deck building and unique deck builds and trying to get this stuff to fire, she is going to be so much fun. And if you like combos, in the end, it's not that powerful, but even look what I did there. I did 12 damage. 12 damage on the villain. Oh my gosh. 12 damage on the villain's turn, drawing a card in there with the web bracelets. It's so cool. And then Ticket to the Multiverse is probably the most fun card we have in the game. The fact that you know you have a ticket sitting there waiting for you to just take a bonus turn is awesome. Now be careful, it's not a bonus turn because you can't trigger her ability. Her ability is once per phase, so you don't reset and start a new turn. So be careful of that, that you don't do that wrong. But it's cool with George Stacy because you can take any events in your hand, tuck them there, and then you'll draw even more cards. So yeah, that combo of her, just what's on here, and this card just makes her one of the most fun new characters we've had. She just chases fun immensely. He's powerful. She's fun. That would be what I would say for these characters. All right, how about the stuff that's in here for protection? It's okay. I think Jump Flip is pretty awesome. Having a new defense card that removes threat is going to really, really be helpful. You could start to I think this card could get you to do a mitigation strategy without doing the whole hard to ignore thing, because now you can play this, mitigate by 2, and remove 2 threat. And you get attack for 4, take 2 damage, remove 2 threat. You know, Drax, characters like that could do those kind of things. This is going to be an amazing card for Drax. This is a Drax card right here in my mind. But I think you're going to start to build up a mitigation strategy that you can do where you can just limit the damage you take, and then it's just cool because you don't have to put all those hard to ignores and do the perfect defense to also be able to remove threat. Return the Favor is interesting. You're really going to want to be able to cancel those. I think it's cool. I like this card on Spider-Woman because it's a 0 cost, so it'll give her a token, and this is the one where you flip for a treachery and then deal 5 damage. So when you flip down with Spider-Woman, you could look at the top card. If it's a treachery, you know what's coming your way and you can react to it. So I think that card can have a niche in it. Bait and switch is in here. What doesn't kill me? Yeah, this is nice to make sure that you can ready. So if you have heroes that just do something really well when they're ready, I'm thinking of Rocket, but I would never block with Rocket. So, but somebody who would block, but then you'd also want them to be ready on their turn. Also, again, mitigation strategy. This heals you and readies you, so you could exhaust just to reduce some of the damage and then play this to heal yourself back up from big hits. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't exactly see the what doesn't kill me, but it's got to play. Young Love is neat. Across the Spider-Verse isn't as good as I thought it would be. I wasn't playing this as much, but I think in multiplayer it would be even better. 3 and 4 players is what I mean. 2 player was what I was playing. It could be good. I think the more people you add, the better this gets. But just simply paying 2 to go get a character from your discard pile, there's no reason I wouldn't put one of these in my deck. That's cool. The new Spider-Man characters are cool. Spider UK is neat. They were all worth it. They're worth their value. It was annoying to have these cards and not be able to use them. Yeah. And yeah, oh gosh, Silk is just amazing. Just to draw that on turn 1 or turn 2 and just get rid of Shadow of the Past, or if Shadows goes by, get rid of Advance, and now know that you can flip. I mean, that is a card that is awesome for protection. So that is that. Miles is fun. We got a new archetype here. Miles is powerful. We've got a new archetype. Gwen Stacy is a barrel of fun. I like her better because I like the ideas and the combos, and I think the deck building you can do. And there may be a damage mitigation for like a lot of heroes coming out with this Jump Flip card and a few of the others that are in there. So I think that could be really exciting. All right, let's see. I chained Across the Spider-Verse once. The best use of Across the Spider-Verse was for her to get a card out and then for Miles to go get Spider-Man Peter Parker, because Spider-Man Peter Parker has a requirement cost to play him, but to put him into play you don't. So I paid 3 to put him into play, and I didn't have to use the specific resources on him. So that was the best way to use her. So I would team this Spider-Man up with that card in a deck. All right, what did people ask me? How would I build the heroes outside the precons? I will absolutely save that to... Well, I won't. I'll say. But Steve is so much better with that stuff. I don't know that Miles matters. Things that could trigger off of already being stunned and confused seem pretty good. So like Justice with the Sonic Rifle that can deal damage, or the Scare Tactics to deal even more damage. Again, that scare tactic, 1 for 3 damage if they're confused, would just get you there faster. You'd just get to the win faster. So you've got that. And in aggression, I mean, he seems primed for aggression to just boom, 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 just blow up the villain. That's probably where I would go first. I mean, he's got protection because of status. He just doesn't have a strong connection to me on anything. Honestly, I don't think that these heroes build to an aspect as much as that champion and that web warrior is going to be a big deal. So I think web warrior is kind of the new build, and champion is going to be the build once we get this cycle and get the champion cards that we've seen that are coming out with the other heroes. Gwen Stacy seems great in protection. She seems built for that with a 3 defense, so I think protection is going to be her best build. That's probably where I would even go first. I don't know what I would put her in. She's a little weak on threat removal, even though she's got the one that removes 5, which is really good, so she could go to Justice. It's really going to come down to like early... She feels like early on... Which she's not going to be, but initially I'm just thinking her like Iron Man was early on, where it was like, well, there's only techs. There's only tech cards in these specs, so we're going to go here. He was really good in Justice, and then, all of a sudden we added these tech cards in green, and suddenly he had protection because he had the energy bears. Then we added hand cannons. So I think that's how she's going to be based on what interrupts and responses are. Like if we find there's one, and I don't know, but we find an aspect where there's a ton of interrupt and responses, that's going to be a sweet spot for her and whatnot. But I definitely think she's built for protection, not in the Drax way. Drax feels very heavily towards it. She definitely could go. I mean, those skilled strikes were awesome. And I love that she can play cards, like she's not triggering off attack or defense cards. She's triggering off interrupt and response. So suddenly those skill cards, those tactics cards, those tags that we haven't used yet are usable for her. All right. Seems like you're going to want more 1-cost defense cards with her. I definitely think that could be true. Yes. Would I choose the bracelet over George as my setup card? No. Maybe. There's 2 bracelets, 1 George. That would make me pick George. But the bracelet would be totally fine. I don't think what I picked was like the guaranteed best cards. You saw I was going to flip every turn, so Genki Lee made a lot of sense for me because I was drawing a lot of cards from him. But you might decide you're not going to do that, and so you don't want Genki Lee. He wouldn't make sense. So then you'd be going to get a wrist thing to give you +1, I think. I don't know. You didn't figure it out. You get to enjoy it however you want. All right, she's your next Miss Marvel. Did you ever use Spider UK to KO minions for free? That seems strong to me. Let's see. I feel like I was going for something in like the first game. It's hard to remember back to those. Spider UK. Spider UK defends against an attack. Deal damage. The attack enemy equal the number of web warriors. That is really good. Yeah, you're right. That's a great way to kill minions. Yeah, and then there's where it'd be great to have heal, right? Spider UK deals damage equal to the number of web warrior cards you control, which is interesting. What if her cards are web warriors that come out on the table? So we would have him and her, so he'd be dealing 2 damage back. Across the Spider-Verse isn't, but that other one is. I could have another Spider-Man out. So in addition to allies, there was the web one, right? None of her cards are a specific web warrior. But there is the Web of Life and Destiny. So he could be dealing 3 unless I put other minions out, and then he could be blocking the minions, hopefully for 1 or 2, and then I could med team or first aid him. It's a great idea. I didn't do it. But that is a great idea. I really like that. Did you ever get to chain that? I said that. That's a Drax card too. Yep. Hulk card. Give me this for Drax. Oh, block and ready with Drax. Thank you. Yes, that would be the mitigation. You'd block with him, and then you can ready. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, everybody. I didn't see it. Oh, yeah. No, there's definitely others that you can use it just to ready, right? Okay. Doesn't kill me. Probably good so you can get 1 physical back. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the idea with Miles, is just to thin out his deck and just get to those cards as fast. Just play all those cards. Tony Tales went through a thing where he called it tempo, and I don't really understand tempo. It's not that I don't think it's a thing, but I know Rush. I've done plenty of the Rush games, and I know build for sure. That's what I did here. So tempo is the one I'm trying to figure out. But it seems to be all based around low cost curve. And that's definitely what he is. He's low cost curve, high efficiency. You're just drawing whatever and you're just using whatever you have in your hand and as many of them to just do as many effects and hope, hey, this will thwart, this will deal damage, this will deal a status effect, and I got everything every turn. And it's just like kitchen sink kind of idea, which is definitely what he's going for. Oh, he doesn't take damage. Does that really trigger before he takes damage blocking? Really? Oh my gosh. That's so good. That's so good. All right. So there's that. Now we have to go through... Maybe I'll go through the campaign first. I think I will do the campaign first. That way that's up front, and then I'll go through each of the villains. I think it makes more sense. All right, what did I think of the campaign? Okay, very simply, this was the best campaign. This was so much fun. Getting all these upgrades while getting negatives was just a blast. Here, this makes the campaign different. I know you can't see it. At the beginning of the campaign, the first trigger that you get, the first reward you get, is you draw 3 shield cards, and then you pick what you want to have for the rest of the campaign. And there's 8 of them. That's amazing. That's so much fun. Every time I play, it will now be different, right? I could play the same Spider-Man deck and the same Gwen Stacy deck. Go Spider. I don't know why I was called Gwen Stacy. And I get a different upgrade card, and that gives me a different ability. And this is in play from the start of the game. How much fun is that? Instead of shuffling it into my deck and waiting for it to come out. It is in play. That was so much fun. And then getting to put a helicarrier in play was awesome. Upgrading this was exciting. They were definitely better, but they weren't amazing upgrading them. And then being able to take cards from outside another aspect and put them in for free was so good. And then the planning ahead where I get to take a card. So my only complaint on that whole thing is that this darn symbiotic suit is way down the list. And so I didn't even get to do it. So at best, you're going to have it when you fight Venom Goblin. And I think it would have been cool to like somehow get a piece of Venom and then have that suit, but then have it taken away from you. I think I would have rather gotten the suit earlier, and then they would say, nope, now you can't have it anymore. I would have been okay with that. For this mission, like I got Venom, just give me the suit. I wanted to try the suit out so bad. And now, I got to build it and shuffle in a deck and get to play it. So it was sad to me that that was like high reaching. Now, again, it's cool because everybody wants to use the suit. So you're going to replay the campaign, right? Because you're going to be like, oh, now I'm going to play the campaign, but I'm not just going to try to win. I'm going to try to get all these bonuses so I can use the suit. But that was the thing that upset me the most about the campaign. The biggest fault was that I didn't get to use the suit, and I wanted to use the suit. You do also get an additional encounter card at the start of the game. So you would be playing Heroic 2 the first turn, which I know would bother some people. So there is that trade-off. I think some people would be like, I don't want the extra cards. Extra cards bother me so much. So that's probably why they ended up doing it that way. But I was ready. I wanted the suit. This was so fun to write all this stuff down, to get all these upgrades and things. I mean, I thought that was a blast for that. I always liked Rise of Red Skull and Mad Titan Shadow because they just kind of gave you the bonuses. And it was very linear. You just got bonuses and this is what you get. And there's not a lot of options and choice. And the market just didn't really work for me in Galaxy's Most Wanted. It was too open, and then I shuffle it in, and then I don't even know if I'm going to see it before I'm dead. I'll get to this card. So there were the mods for the Milano. I would have rather they kind of started in play, and maybe some of the other cards shuffle in my deck. So that was a little too open for me. This is that perfect sweet spot in between. It's linear. It's saying you're going to get this, and then you're going to get this, but every time I get to make the choice. I pick from 3 cards. I pick what aspect cards I want to shuffle in. I get a helicarrier. I'll just take a helicarrier. Plus, it was a shield card, so that was cool to go with all of that stuff. But that was neat that I got to pick what was happening. And then, meanwhile, the villains were upgrading too, getting all that Oztec. And I'm telling you, there was one turn where that Oztec just crushed me in a game. I had that one where I could not defend, and then he just attacked me twice in a row, each hero, and nobody can defend. So I just died. So it makes him really tough. Yeah, that was the best campaign I've played, though. I thought the story was really cool. It was very, I think people call it street level. I'm not a comics person, but it was very much like we're just there, right? And we're chasing Venom, and everybody's popping up, and all of a sudden we end up against him. So it's very localized, which was nice. But yeah, that was my favorite campaign that I've played. I enjoyed that campaign overall very, very much. I think that was the question that I answered. Four encounter cards, turn 1 in expert Venom. Yeah. Yeah, was the story weaker? I don't know. Like, I didn't feel like the story was weaker because as I was going through, it was like a fun house. Like, I opened the next room, I opened the door, and now I've got mirrors, right? And I open the next door, and oh my gosh, now the Sinister Six, and I have to run away. Like, it just felt like it was very connected, as opposed to traveling from planet to planet and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't play Marvel Champions for the story. I think Arkham Horror is intended for that. I think Lord of the Rings, you kind of create the story. This is a battle. Like, it's okay with me. It's very mechanical. It doesn't bother me, even though it's based around comics. You just kind of have that idea in your head. But yeah, all that upgrading and getting those upgrades, I mean, and just getting to make these little minor choices, but getting to make choices felt really good. And them, appearing right there in front of me. So I thought that was the best, like, campaign structure of them all. So the question is going to be, what do I think of the campaign? Like, you're going to want me to rank them, right? Rank the 4 campaigns. We got Rise of Red Skull, the first one that came out, Galaxy's Most Wanted. We've got Mad Titan Shadow, and now Sinister Motives. So where are they? So first off, I felt like Galaxy's Most Wanted was mostly a miss on the campaign overall. It was too punishing. There were too many things. There was a lot of stuff where you had to pay for things. It's not all that exciting. Yeah, there's something to, like, I have to play this a whole bunch, and I know people like those, like, roguelike games where you die a lot, or they like Bloodborne and some of those video games where it's like, it's just so hard, and that's the point. But I wouldn't mind if it was hard with quick resets, but it felt like it was a lot of long resets. So that was definitely my lowest one. And then if you ask me between Rise of Red Skull and Mad Titan Shadow, it would almost depend on the last one I played. Mad Titan Shadow is definitely harder than Rise of Red Skull, and I think I generally like it better because of that. But when we went back and played Rise of Red Skull recently, like, those bonus and upgrades you get are really fun. There's a lot of really good villains in there. Even Absorbing Man, who's kind of a pushover, you're trying to kill him fast. And so that kind of makes it interesting. And there's a lot of stuff that can come at you quickly. But I think that I still liked Mad Titan Shadow better than Rise of Red Skull. So where does this one fall? I don't know. I think this falls right below those two. So I like this campaign structure. So I guess if it was straight campaign, I think I like this one better in terms of those campaigns. I like that structure and everything. But the biggest downside to me is I think these villains seemed easy again. It didn't strike me as that hard. Now, I played on standard. This is not expert. But there's no way I could speedrun Galaxy's Most Wanted, and I never tried with Mad Titan Shadow because of the things with Hela and other stuff. I'm pretty sure I could speedrun this one. I don't know about the Sinister Six one. Would be a little tricky because of the blocks of damage. Like, I have to deal exactly 7 here to this villain and exactly 8, and then remove this much threat. It would be 20 threat or whatever, which is a lot to do. So I think, like, the overall campaign, this was my favorite, but I think the villains in the box, I'm not sure this was my favorite set of villain. I actually still think the Rise of Red Skull villains are my favorite. So why does Mad Titan Shadow come out on top? I think it finishes that arc. I love Thanos so much, and Hela. I think those are just two great villains in that box especially. But there's a lot there. So, yeah, that would kind of be my overall. I think for me, it's Mad Titan Shadow, Rise of Red Skull, this one, Galaxy's Most Wanted, but there's definitely a gap, and those 3 can move. Now, remember, these are initial impressions of playing Standard. Let me play Expert, and please let me change my mind. Please, let me change my mind and tell you different once I play through the Expert campaign, because that could really make a difference as to which one I like best and whatnot. But, yeah, I felt like these villains were neat. What I liked about the villains is that they all had, like, a gimmick to them. And they all had something which I think made them extremely thematic. Sandman felt like sand was piling up on me. Venom felt like I had to make noise and mess with him, and he was going to hit me really hard with all these cards, even though that one went over well. Mysterio felt frustrating He's definitely the frustrating one in the box. He feels like you just have to speed him down like a collector one and move on. You can't sit there all day, or Nebula. He had a little bit more of that feel because those cards just don't leave your deck. They just get in there and they don't leave. So you almost need like a 50-card deck to fight him, which will be an interesting part to thin things out. The Sinister Six was phenomenal. It was so good. I love that one so much. It's just so neat to be hitting them and trying to remove the threat and trying to escape. And it's got like a fight feel. It's got a hella feel. I'll just put it that way for people who like hella. There's that one. And Venom Goblin, so like I said, it's fiddly, but man, it just feels like it's putting the screws to you, and he's moving all around, and how are you going to control everything? And you can't control everything. Like, you're just trying to get enough control. And I know it's bothering people that I was flipping down, but I knew, like, these had a threshold. Like, they're pretty high, 10, 11, 12, keeping them at half. Like, I'd have to advance twice for those to move over, because he's going to move to a different one and put threat on there. So they don't go up too fast, and if I can remove all that. So I thought he was a good, hard last villain, but not like as hard as Loki is solo, or Ronin. It felt more like a Red Skull again. Like, give me a Red Skull. So those were neat. But I would say that all of them had a gimmick that if you control it, I felt like it made them easy. If you don't let Sandman have counters, he didn't seem that hard. If you don't let Venom flip, he just flips it and you flip the bell tower back, it doesn't seem that hard. If you just go fast against Mysterio and don't draw those cards, it doesn't seem that hard. If the Sinister Six, if you just keep eliminating them every time they come out, it feels like you keep that under control. Now, I'm sure, again, Expert and other things will prevent against that. Venom Goblin, same thing. I just kept putting 2 threat and then just removing threat. As long as I just let him add threat and I controlled threat, it felt like I could just sit there and build all day. So that was kind of the biggest gripe I would have, but I don't think I care. I think the fact that they're all thematic felt more important for this box. I think we have a lot of mechanical things, so give me something that felt very thematic. I'm playing Spider-Man. Like, I want those spider-feeling villains, right? I want all that spider stuff. I know people are upset that Doc Ock wasn't in the box, right? That's like what you want, something with Doc Ock and give it that feel. So I was so happy they were thematic that, yeah, I wish there was a little bit more of a challenge to some of them, but I didn't care. Again, I haven't played Expert, so I'm just talking standard, and that's another thing I should say with the boxes. These are amazing precons. These are some of the best precons that we have in the game. So you go to Galaxy's Most Wanted, and sadly, Rocket and Groot, Rocket, who's my favorite, and Groot, who is awesome, they just don't have good precons. And their precons could even possibly be mediocre, even though people look at them as poor. But they put aggression and protection with no threat removal against a campaign that is all about removing threat. Because those villains build up, and so they just never gave them a chance. These ones have an absolute chance. These decks are built to beat this campaign. And so I think that's cool. Like, that's the experience that they should give players. This is what's going to beat this. Now, if you swap out, you might be in trouble. If you want to take Nebula against Collector, good luck. It's not going to happen. But they didn't put Nebula in the box. That would have been really, really mean. They put Rocket in that box. So that was pretty tough. All right, let me see what people have to say here, because there's a lot going on. All right, see what people are saying. I feel like the story here was a little weaker. I've not liked the campaign upgrades so far in Champions. I found the boxes play way better as 5 normal individual scenarios. I think they're intended to do that. At the end of the day, I don't want to play campaign over campaign. So I'm happy that there's 5 individual scenarios that I can play a campaign. Some people would be like, the campaign better be good because I'm not going to play the individual scenarios, right? If you're an Arkham player, you want a campaign. You don't want individual scenarios, right? So, and that's kind of what they're adding to Lord of the Rings. They're putting that campaign in. People want that. I'm happy to have 5 individual scenarios, and if there happens to be a campaign, great. But if there was no campaign in these boxes, I would still buy them and play them. So that is an important thing to realize. I don't know what you said, Brombe, but I guess I didn't think so. Yeah, I didn't think the story was that weak. The campaign stuff didn't fit in. The only problem with the story is Gwen and Miles being the only heroes in it. Choose 3. Oh, yeah, I agree. If the story is a little on the weak side, it's probably fine in this game. Yep. It's a thumbs up. Oh, I love that. Yeah, the precons definitely made this easy. Huh. Yeah, I'd be intrigued. Expert, that expert campaign really helps you beat Loki. I think people have to recognize that. I would actually be intrigued to know how many people have beat expert Loki solo, or how many different heroes you can get to beat expert Loki solo, especially outside of Justice. So I would love that if people want to comment like, oh, I beat him with, like I did it with Captain Marvel leadership. So that's one, right? And there's probably some others, but Loki solo is very tough on expert, I think, and you really need a lot of threat removal. So I find Justice is that piece, but that campaign gives you a lot of pieces by the time you get to Loki that really, really help to beat it. Yeah, there's that. Okay, so that is my overall thoughts. The campaign structure I like a lot. The villains I like because they're thematic, but I don't like. But I thought that they were easy, and I played them on standard. I don't know, but they don't seem to have a lot of health and other things. So I'll go through the villains. I kind of already gave my opinions, but I'll do it again because I said I would, and see what I think. Again, I haven't played Expert, which is what I'm going to mostly play after this, but I don't like to crack a box and play Expert with precons. I don't know what I'm getting into, and I think Galaxy's Most Wanted has made a lot of us gun shy, and I think that's fine. Right now, there is a campaign that's really hard, and there's 4 campaigns, so I don't think it's big a deal. All right, Sandman was awesome. I loved that he added those counters. I thought it made it a little bit easy, the fact that you could exhaust a character you control and remove sand counters equal to their attack. That it was anybody was really powerful. You can only do it once per phase, so that might matter with more players. But the fact that I could exhaust my allies, in fact, that's what I was using Spider UK to do, is he was doing this. He was removing 2 counters every time I did that. I never got sand clones out. They were one of the earliest cards we saw, I remember, spoiled. And so they would have been neat to get out. In fact, I left one in play and just killed him because they pile up with those counters. But again, if you control the counters, then they attack for 0. So there's that element. So he probably could have used like an add a sand counter every turn, which maybe he does. Oh, when he attacks you and deals damage, he adds 1. So anyway, so that was him. But, he's the first villain of the box, 16, 18, 19, so 34 hit points. That's pretty good. That's pretty high. 34 is on the higher side for starting out. This Sandform karma is great, where he just blocks and then does the surging sand thing. That's awesome. It doesn't go to some other place. That's a big mess. And I love, is it this one? Both of these. Both these side schemes were great. Thematic side schemes to go with them. This was the best part of the box. There's some awesome thematic side schemes. So the title sand says, when revealed, place X additional threat here, where X is equal to the number of sand counters on city streets. So if you're not doing your job, that's going to mess with you more. If you're doing your job, it's easy to remove. It's only 2. It's not 2 per player. It's not 2 hinder 17. There's some heavy sarcasm and angst there. And then Dirt Trap, resolve the Surging Sand's ability on city streets, resolve it again. So it's got a crisis. It's only 1, which was great because it just gets in your way. It's annoying, and then you have to do the city streets. So those were phenomenal. Those were my favorite cards in his kit to have to fight against. So that was Sandman. Then next up was Venom. I'll have to let you know about mods. What does the stage 3 villain look like, difficulty-wise? 19 health is low. When revealed, place a sand counter and resolve surging stands. So there's that. And when he attacks you, it gains overkill. That's the big part. So once he gets to stage 3, he has overkill on all his attacks. You no longer can block with allies, which means you're going to be taking damage, which means you're going to be adding to city streets. So that's smart. And he's 1/3. So you're going to want to flip down, because attacking for 3 with overkill and surging sands is going to make you want to flip down. And then flip those up. Oh, and this was cool, how you don't want acceleration counters, but he's going through the deck, so that was smart that they put that on there. And the 9 seemed fine. He goes up 1 per turn, starts with some on there. So that was that. Oh, mod sets. I don't remember what his mod sets were. Oh, that Down to Earth one was cool. Oh, that's a great part. They added in these mods that have like alter ego things, like the Common Criminal that you can get rid of, and the Down to Earth where you can use your recovery to remove threat from it. So that was really cool. They put in abilities to go to alter ego and then get rid of things and use your alter ego stats and be an alter ego to do things. I know I'm a big pro alter ego person and people don't like it, but it's cool that now they're like giving you reasons to go to alter ego and things you can do there. So that was really neat. All right. Venom was awesome. Like the idea that every time you hit him, he's going to get all these cards and he's going to punch you back so hard is so cool. My play against him was so easy, and just keeping that control. So the key that's going to be tricky with or interesting with him is that this flips when you get to 3 per player. You really want to like surpass that. So I think when I did it, I had Spider-Gwen, like there was already counters on it, 3 or 4, and then I had Spider-Gwen kick him for 6, so then it goes to 10. He only removes counters if he hits your identity, and I think that would have been a lot different. It would have been a lot harder if it was like any damage he does, if it removed counters from there. The fact that when he hits your identity only, now you chump block and everything, you keep him on this side. But I love on this side that everything does +1 damage. So you're just like, okay, we got to hit him down, hit him down, hit him down. But it would be nice if he had a reset. He does actually have a reset. He has a bunch of cards in here, a side scheme that resets and flips it back over, and other things. Again, I love these side schemes that say, like, there's 9 threat on here, or 8 threat, but every time you hit him and deal damage, you remove threat from this as well. So again, it's putting something there that you're going to be able to remove naturally. For Whom the Bell Tolls removes counters. It also removed threat, so that one was a little interesting. But yeah, some of these would help you to do that, which was interesting. And again, a thing that he can get that gives him overkill, but if you punch him, you can get rid of the tokens and then it goes away. So we need that on Ronin. There's that. Okay. So then there was Mysterio. So Mysterio's the annoying one in the box, for sure. And that's not necessarily in a bad way. I don't mean to just say, like, oh, he's annoying and he's terrible. Like, I don't mean that. But he's just shuffling all these cards in. He's the first villain we've seen that goes down. His stage 2 is 17 health per player. His stage 3 is 16 health. So it's like, if you're playing him expert, it's interesting to just, work on him. And then when you flip him, he's got even less health. But yeah, he puts cards on the top, on the bottom, in your discard pile, all these illusion cards. So you can't really switch his out. I don't know if anything else has illusion, so that would be for the people to figure out. So his side schemes really go with him because they're the illusions. But yeah, everything's just a pain. This Deja Vu card is just annoying. It just keeps getting shuffled in. This Fearmonger card is a nightmare. Discard your hand, draw new. It's a surge. So you got to get more cards. So he's just getting you to go through your cards. These shifting apparitions are a super pain to get rid of. So yeah, he's going to be the one that people are going to be the most frustrated with. I think for sure. But I don't know. He doesn't feel particularly harder than any of the others, and it's just going to depend on the cards you get and how much they stack up. This card is so much fun. This is one of the best cards we have. Fool's Paradise. And it gets 1 of each token, but you get +2 hand size. Yeah, pull that card out with one way or another. So now you get the +2 hand size, and then you can go get rid of it. It's 6 per player to get rid of it. And then it goes to the victory display, so you can't get it back again. This goes and gets, so the personal nightmare ones are Whispers of Paranoia. This goes and gets your Nemesis side scheme. That's cool. We haven't seen that before. So there's a lot of fun stuff. It's fun stuff. I think that's what's really neat in this one. I think that's what people are going to find. Like, yeah, this villain's annoying, but there's fun stuff going on. And that's like, we get to have fun as the heroes. Let the villains have fun too. But yeah, that's what I would say about Mysterio. I think he's going to be the one. I don't know. Depending on what the difficulty level ends up being and people feel about him, he could be one that falls more towards that, frustrating collector Nebula style. But that might be what people are looking for. I adore this scenario so much. Having the Sinister Six is so cool. Having them all just keep coming out, keep hitting you, having all these abilities you're trying to deal with. Meanwhile, trying to escape the whole time is so much fun. Like, clear this, but then they put more things in, and then it's just so smart. If you're not getting rid of them, you start to suffer all these effects. So now you've got this, and you can't clear any threat off the scheme, and you've got others that say you have to hit this person, so they come out. Now you have to hit them and put them back into play 2 at a time. And for all of them that are in play, like this gains X equal to the number of villains in play. So that one's kind of maddening. Again, I don't know if their Guerrilla Tactics side scheme can go anywhere else. The life-size decoy is kind of cool. It's actually interesting. I wanted a decoy to be in Rocket's deck. I thought it would have been cool originally if Rocket had decoys he could put out, and then he could shoot them to overkill him to draw cards. I thought that would have been neat. He puts his own things in front of him or something there. Place one threat in the main scheme for each enemy in play. Okay, so you can shuffle those in where there's going to be a lot of enemies like Green Goblin or Ultron or Claw, Zola, right? So that could be a big deal. And then the side schemes are giving all these bonuses to each enemy, so you have to deal with them. Yeah, no, this one will go in. Guerrilla Tactics will work in other ones too. That's interesting. Yeah, this is just the most fun one. I hope this is that one where you're just trying to chase and run away. It's cool that you're instead of like delving in, you're trying to like get out. But I think that's my favorite scenario that's in the box right there. And then Venom Goblin. Yeah, he's just the hard one. If you get the wrong string of cards, you're just done. And drawing those 2 cards and having steady. Some people are going to like steady. Some people are not going to like steady. So that's going to be part of it. Yeah, he's just fiddly. People said they didn't find him to be very fiddly, but I think he is very fiddly. So I think that's just going to be... I don't know if people are going to like that or not. These Osborne techs are brutal, so that's a brutal part of the campaign. The symbiotic strength. Oh, that one also goes in Venom. Yeah, that one's cool. I actually love the card that says you got to flip out of Alter Ego and then he attacks you. Oh, we didn't get to any of these weapons. I should show you these attachments. I got the webbed up, but there's a bunch of attachments here. Actually, they're on the site there, so you can see them. But we didn't get this one. So this advanced glider is nasty. Every time he activates again. So he attacks you and then he attacks you again. And this is what killed me. He drew this, and then he drew the one that said he can't be defended, and then he assaulted me. So then after he assaults, he attacks again. So he hit me twice. And I was dead. So to get rid of this one, you have to discard any number of attack cards from your hand with a combined resource of 3 or more. That's cool. That's a unique way to get rid of it. Then he's got smoke bombs. So it's got 2 counters on it. You can't get rid of it. It gives him +1 attack. And after he attacks you, remove a bomb counter, and you have to discard the lowest cost event in your hand. The concussive bombs, 2 counters, gives him +1 attack, exhaust 1 upgrade and 1 support you control. Webbed up, I told you about. And then the incendiary bombs. After he attacks you, remove bomb counter, deal 2 indirect damage. That's the one he already has, the pumpkin bombs. So yeah, those are cool. And those can be taken out and put in the other goblin. So that is a set, which will be really fun, although this will be nightmarish. You're going to want to get rid of that. The symbiotic strength has the enraged symbiote, so that was cool. Give him a boost card. That's boring. Surge and a boost card, but it's just surge and a boost card. Yeah, this swinging assault is so cool. Change to hero form, the villain attacks you. That's so rude. That's so rude. I can't even think of the hero, like Ronin or something, where that is in. The smear campaign was cool to add in the like J.J. Jameson thing. But it wasn't that big a deal. Yep. So that is that. Those are all those. I don't know how I feel about Venom Goblin. I don't know if he was one of my favorites. He was fiddly, but it was cool to have a big villain that was like that, and he's moving all around, and see how he goes. All right. Other comments. What's the stage 3 villain look like? I did that for him, right? Oh, yeah. No, you're right. It could be the low health. Yeah, it was just interesting to me. I hadn't seen that before. So there you go. I feel like I gave a pretty thorough review of what I thought of the box. I really enjoyed it. I think people are really going to like it. If Galaxy's Most Wanted was your favorite, then I think this one might not work well. If difficulty is a big piece that you're looking for, I don't think the difficulty was here too much, but again, let me eat my words once I play expert and go, forget it, guys. This is really, really hard. And I was wrong. But I don't think it seems tough, so that seems to be something they're doing. But I feel like this was the most thematic, and then people were saying they felt like the story was the weakest, so I don't know. I mean, I guess the story was very base level, right? For all that, but I thought those villains are very, very thematic. And that was neat because I feel like some of them aren't as thematic. Like Ultron feels thematic, putting all those drones out and everything, but it just kind of advances among stages. But this felt like each one had their own mechanism that was very unique to them. So very unique. That's the worst phrase. Other questions, comments, concerns, things I can help with, things I can answer before we finish the stream. Wow, it's 11 o'clock. So that was 2 hours. All right. Well, you can still ask me questions here. So you can tune in. We will play the expert campaign once we're all able to get the box, or most of us are able to get the box. And that's going to be over on the Beat the Game channel, just because this channel is for all games, and I've done a ton of champions. So I like to put, in that sense, I don't need the whole channel here to be champions as much as I love having everybody to come watch champions, and I love playing champions, so I will continue to put champions on the channel. But it is, for the store and for lots of other games. It's just been a lot of champions lately. And then once they sent me this box, that was what it was going to be. But we will play the expert campaign over on Steve's channel on Beat the Game with Brian and Steve and myself. So you can look forward to that. I am now going to break all this stuff down, get Rocket Justice, and go through the expert campaign solo is going to be my next move. Not on camera. That's how I'm just going to play downstairs, watching some college basketball, some other things that are happening this week. All right, everybody. It sounds like in Canada, it's ready to come out next week, and it sounds like in the US, it's looking to release in April. So there's a small delay there, and I don't know the rest of the world. Those are the only two that I've kind of heard. It feels official to me, but I'm not the person to say this is officially coming out or not. I am going to get more Lord of the Rings plays in on the channel. Steve from One Stop Co-op Shop and I are going to play the other campaign, so maybe if that's something people are interested in, you can check that out. And I'm hoping to maybe pick up those starter decks that they have for the new starter decks for Lord of the Rings and get those in. So we'll do that as well. Oh, you're welcome, everybody. No problem. I enjoyed doing it. Honestly, I know people would like to have the box, and I want people to have the box. I don't want to have this box for 3 months while nobody else has it. I don't mind having it a week ahead of people. Hopefully maybe a month ahead of people. And I enjoy doing the streams. I hope they're interesting for people. I know everybody doesn't want to watch full playthroughs of games, and they just want to see pictures of the images and whatnot. And I thought of doing that, where I just take a camera and just plop down all the cards. But I want everybody to experience it with me. I played them all for the first time. I played him because I was doing it tonight, and I had time this morning with my family. Busy doing stuff, and I wanted to make sure I had these mechanics down because he seemed pretty complex, so I played him, but I wanted to play the first time with you, so you're experiencing it with me. That's part of it, and I always play live because I want people to be with me. I want to be able to do that, so hopefully that joy comes across, and you get to experience some of that, even though I know you can't play too, but it'll be really soon, and then we'll all be enjoying it together, and then in 2 months, hopefully you can meet me up at Con of Heroes and we can play there, or maybe you'll be driving through the Hartford, Connecticut area. It's actually Manchester, Connecticut, right between New York and Boston, and stop over. We'll play a game together. That would be a ton of fun as well. All right. That's it, everybody. I am out. Thanks so much for watching through the whole campaign. If you came for all 5, that's awesome. And were with me live. If not, and you're here afterward, hey, throw a comment down below, a thumb up on the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, now's the time. There will be more champions on the channel. I will break these heroes down and play them at some point with other aspects as well. I'll make a video of doing that, or maybe get a live play in an afternoon with Brian or something like that. Actually, that's probably what I will do. Brian and I will find an afternoon that we have available, and once he gets the box, and one of us will pick Miles and one of us will pick Gwen, and we'll build them different ways and play that so people can see that as well. Or actually, when Larry comes back, maybe I'll do that with Larry, because that would be fun. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching. Share the video with other people so they know, maybe the first one if they want to see it. I know some people don't want spoilers and whatnot. But you can tell them, I guess they can't come even to the end because I went through. I was going to say they could come to the review and see the review if they wanted to, but I guess I talked about a lot of the elements, so it might spoil some of that. But All right, hopefully you got my thoughts. If not, put a comment down below if there's other things that you wanted to know or other things that you needed from me, and I will respond to them. Now I'm just babbling because I'm tired and I've done a lot of this. And it is time to be done. So long, farewell, to thee I bid adieu. That's it, everybody. My name is the Brandt, and until next time, I hope you step into the portal. Bye, everybody. The epic